Anxiety in itself is a paradox. Anytime you try to fix it, every time you try to avoid it, you're in fact reinforcing the cycle. And so many people get stuck in this constant fight or flight anxiety mode, especially in today's day and age, because they're going about anxiety in a very intuitive approach. If they're feeling discomfort, they run away from it. If they're feeling something, they avoid it. And they do everything they can to not feel the anxiety, but all that does is that just reinforces it. It's like a Chinese finger trap. Anytime you try to pull out of it, it actually brings you right back in. So in this video, I want to share with you how to rewire your brain so that you're no longer dealing with anxiety and panic attacks. You can go back to living fully and freely and not deal with these symptoms long term. So let's get started. So in this video, I'm not going to be talking about the key principles of recovery. For that, I need you to understand a little bit more of the nuances and really explain the context to you. If you want to know, I have a free ebook down below. You can download it right now. It'll go to your email. You can start reading the PDF right away, helping you understand the mechanics of anxiety, how to overcome your symptoms. You can always use that book and use it side by side with these videos so that you can better understand the concepts here. So the link is down below, definitely check it out. Now, for people that are dealing with panic attacks, their symptoms can be very physical. They can be experiencing dizziness, brain fog, digestive issues, heart palpitations, blood pressure's up. They will be experiencing this even when they're not experiencing panic attacks. So it's natural to think that there's something physically wrong. Many of these people will go to their doctors, get everything ruled out, make sure to get everything ruled out by your doctors, but are just told it's anxiety. So they start recognizing that, okay, this is an issue with the brain. This isn't a body issue. It's manifesting itself in body issues, but actually the issue is that my brain is basically stuck in this fight or flight mode. We call this nervous system sensitization. It's just a fancy word to say that your nerves are on edge. Your nervous system has gotten very sensitive, and what it's doing is that it's overreacting to small triggers with big responses. Basically, anytime you have even the slightest trigger, you might not even be aware of it, your body goes into this full-on fight or flight mode, basically this life or death situation. And what happens is people end up getting frustrated by this. They think, why is my brain doing this to me? Why is it ruining my life? I'm just trying to live normally and freely, but I can't enjoy myself because my brain is constantly stuck in this fight or flight mode, and I can't do anything to make it go away. Well, the first thing you have to understand is that you need to talk to your brain as your partner, not as something that you're against, not your enemy. Say what you want. Your anxiety is ruining your life. Your anxiety is creating all these intense symptoms, but your brain is keeping you alive. The only reason why you're alive right now is because of your brain. Because no matter how much you talk negatively towards it, it only has one goal in mind, which is to keep you alive. And it will do anything and everything to make sure that you stay alive, that you avoid danger. Now, all that's happened is that your partner in crime, your brain, has just become a little bit defensive. Your brain has basically gotten a little bit too overprotective of you. It's looking at every small thing as a threat, even things that aren't a threat. And so what you need to do is have compassion when you're speaking to your brain. When you view your brain, it's not some enemy. This isn't some chemical imbalance issue. This isn't some defect. All that's happened is that your brain is just a little bit overprotective. You need to give it grace. You need to thank it. And you need to show that what it's doing is inappropriate, but the way you do it is also very important. So how do you go about that? Well, helping people around the world, the first thing that I always focus on is helping people understand why they're experiencing symptoms. So when you're experiencing digestive issues, brain fog, panic attacks, the intrusive thoughts, really helping you understand the mechanics of what's going on. When you start understanding the mechanics of the fight or flight response, of anxiety, why you're creating these symptoms, you don't look at your brain as some sort of enemy against you. You look at it as, oh, okay, it's just right now not knowing what's a threat and what's not, and it just wants to keep me alive. So I'm just experiencing these symptoms because my brain's a little bit confused. And so when you start recognizing this, when you start learning this, you will naturally start developing more compassion towards your brain. So how do you speak to your brain? Well, the first thing you can do is not fall for the bluff. So anytime you're having intense symptoms, physical symptoms, remind yourself that this isn't a body issue. And how do you know this? Well, you've gone to your doctors and you've seen everything, you've gotten everything checked out, and there's really nothing to fix. And so recognizing that what you're dealing with isn't a body issue. What's really happening is in the brain. And so don't get fooled. And then number 2, don't get frustrated whenever you have the symptoms. Anytime you experience symptoms and you get frustrated by it, it's very easy to start talking to yourself negatively. It's really easy to begin self-loathing. It's really easy to develop learned helplessness, where you feel like, you do something, it's wrong, you do something, it's wrong, you do something, and now you're scared because, what if you're wrong again? And it's recognizing that whenever that happens, whenever you experience symptoms, talk to yourself with compassion. Talk to your brain with compassion. Have patience. Show your brain that, look, what you're doing right now, you're just trying to protect me. It's okay. There's nothing to do. And you keep living your life. You keep doing everything with these symptoms there. You try to be as unbothered as possible. Look, I went through the healing journey. It's not easy. Some days are really hard. In fact, some days are gonna be so hard, you're gonna be wondering, is it really supposed to be this hard? And the truth is that, yeah, it is that hard. But what do you do in those moments? Do you go into frustration? Do you go into panic? Do you start believing the symptoms? Or do you just develop the patience and you just teach your brain, listen, I don't care how many times I need to teach you, I'm just gonna show you. Sometimes we think that our brain just isn't able to learn, but that's not true. Because if you really look at what's happening, the reason why you're dealing with these symptoms in the first place is because your brain learned and your brain associated the fact that these small things that are happening is a fight or flight response. It's a life or death situation. So it's your responsibility to teach it that it's not. But the only way it's gonna learn is by you showing it, is by you having compassion towards it. Recognizing, hey, look, I know you're trying to protect me. It's okay, there's nothing wrong. Look, I'm gonna go live my life. I'm gonna keep doing everything I need to do. I'm not gonna stop. I'm not gonna get frustrated. I'm not gonna put too much energy into this. I'm just gonna keep living my life. And so the language of the brain isn't just what you're saying to it, it's how you live your life. The way you show up. How do you respond when these symptoms come up? Do you get frustrated with yourself? Or do you teach your brain, hey, look, there's no threat. It's totally okay. Keep living your life and keep doing your stuff, hanging out with friends. It's holidays right now. Hanging out with your friends, your family, going out, having, dinner with your family, like I'm gonna be doing later this evening. Doing all these things and just letting your symptoms come with you. Over time, your brain will learn on its own, but it will learn on its own pace. And you can't force it. It's almost like a puppy, right? And when a puppy makes an accident in the house, you're not gonna yell at it. You're not gonna be like, oh, you're stupid puppy. It's a puppy. It will learn eventually. It just doesn't know. So you just be patient with it. Yelling at it doesn't work. The dog can't understand yelling and stuff like that. It just doesn't know. And in fact, you kind of traumatize it that way. You don't want to do that. You want to teach it. You want to be patient. You want to be graceful. You want to show it what's appropriate behavior and what's not appropriate behavior. It's that calm, collected, assertive response that really teaches the puppy. It's the same logic with the mind. And the last thing I would say is make sure to use neutral words. Just describe what you're experiencing right now in the moment for what it is. So for example, if you're feeling dizzy, you don't want to say, oh, I'm dealing with chronic dizziness syndrome that causes, PPPD or chronic fatigue syndrome or all these things. You're just feeling a little bit lightheaded right now. And always use the word right now, because that's all that's happening, right? You're feeling a little bit dizzy right now. Recognize that your brain right now, not forever, is creating more problems than there is, right? Your brain is actually creating problems. And so don't get fooled into thinking that there are more problems than there actually are. And so what happens is the brain's creating made up problems that really aren't there. You start reacting to those and then you start creating more and more problems. So the problems end up amplifying. So all you need to do is just recognize that your brain is a little bit more on the side of creating problems because again, it's overprotective, right? It's okay. That's all right. It's just doing that to protect you. But really what's happening is that it's trying to create more problems than there are in hopes that you act, that you do something. You don't need to do anything. You just need to reteach your brain what's going on and just use these neutral words. Hey, I'm just feeling dizzy right now. I'm having digestive issues right now. I'm feeling a little bit panicky right now. That's okay. I'm experiencing a little bit of apprehension, a little bit of nervousness right now. What is there to do? Nothing. Go along with it. There's nothing to do. It's all just the brain just trying to protect me. And you do that and your brain will start saying, oh my God, Shaan's not reacting. Shaan's not doing anything. Maybe, we can't settle this. Maybe we don't have to look at everything as a threat. Maybe we can actually calm our nerves And what you'll start seeing is that you'll start seeing your nerves desensitize. You'll start sleeping better. You'll notice that you'll have more times to relax. You'll have more moments where you're feeling other emotions like joy, like happiness, and you're, getting better. And then you start realizing that the subject of anxiety is starting to get old too. You start realizing that there's other things in life you want to focus on, not just on your anxiety constantly. There's other things more important than your anxiety. That's how you know you're doing the right thing and you're focused in the right direction. I hope this video helps. If you want more resources, including applying for mentorship, you can click the link down below. And if you want to know the 5 steps to overcoming these symptoms once and for all, make sure to check out this video here. I'll see you in the next one.